Ever heard a room gasp when a bid hits seven figures? Ever seen a BMW sell for the price of a private island? Imagine a room so tense you can hear the tick of a Rolex across the aisle. A place where a flick of a paddle can drop millions in seconds, and only the boldest collectors dare to play. Welcome to RM Sotheby's, where the world's rarest BMWs find new homes at prices that would make your accountant faint. Today, we're counting down the top 10 most expensive BMWs ever sold under the hammer, and trust me, these prices will leave your jaw on the floor. 10. 2015 BMW M5 30 Jahre Edition. Coming in hot at number 10, we've got the 2015 BMW M5 30 Jahre Edition, a rare beast that hammered down at RM Sotheby's in Essen for $64,000. Now, you might think 64 grand is chump change compared to some auction monsters, but hold on. This isn't just any M5. BMW only built 300 of these special 30 Jahre editions worldwide to celebrate 30 years of the M5 eating AMG sedans for breakfast. Under that sleek, frozen dark silver metallic paint sits a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, cranking out 600 horsepower, 40 more ponies than your regular M5, with tighter, stiffer competition package suspension and those cool 20-inch lightweight M wheels. Hit the gas, and you'll rip from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 3.9 seconds. Drop the hammer on the Autobahn, and with the limiter removed, it'll brush past 200 miles per hour. At its launch, it was BMW's most powerful production car with ceramic brakes, black merino leather with Alcantara accents, and 30 Jahre badging, reminding you you're in something special. This exact example, delivered new to Canada, then tucked away in a private Swiss collection, it's practically brand new with less than 400 kilometers on the clock. It's the ultimate F10 M5, the kind you could slide into your garage and leave your buddies speechless when you pop the hood. These 30 Jahre M5s don't pop up often, especially not with mileage this low, and you can bet this car will appreciate in value. You think $64,000 is a lot for an M5? Just wait till you see what's next. Before we continue, if you're the type who loves the smell of race gas and the sound of bids flying, tap that like button and subscribe to our channel so we can keep bringing you these insane auction moments. 9. 1957 BMW 503 Cabriolet. Rolling in at number 9 is a piece of pure 1950s elegance, the 1957 BMW 503 Cabriolet, which sold for $156,800 at RM Sotheby's in Los Angeles. The 503 is about understated luxury, drop-top cruising, and style. Only 78 aluminum-bodied Series 1 cabriolets like this were ever built. It debuted alongside the iconic 507 at the 1955 Frankfurt Motor Show and shared its Albrecht von Goertz pen bodywork, giving it those smooth, swooping lines that still turn heads today. Powering this beauty is a 3.2-liter V8, rated at 140 horsepower back in the day. Not supercar fast by modern standards, but you didn't buy a 503 to set lap times. You bought it to cruise the Pacific Coast Highway with the top down, soaking up the sun while that V8 hummed under the hood and heads turned as you rolled past. This exact car has a story as fascinating as the machine itself. Originally painted white, paired with a black soft top and a unique polychrome blue and white vinyl interior, it made its way to California in the 70s or 80s. Then in June 1984, Rudy Klein scooped it up for just $11,000. For 40 years, it sat quietly at Rudy's Porsche foreign auto wrecking yard, untouched, a hidden treasure waiting to be rediscovered. When RM Sotheby's came to catalog the collection in 2024, they unearthed this rare BMW still wearing the same colors it wore decades ago. A rolling time capsule for anyone looking to restore a piece of BMW history. The 503's bodywork remains a work of art, with its elegant proportions, low-slung stance, and the kind of craftsmanship that makes modern convertibles look like soulless boxes by comparison. The hydraulic-operated convertible top was cutting-edge tech back in the 50s, and the interior, with its mix of vinyl and chrome, still oozes retro charm. While $156,800 might sound steep for an old cabriolet, consider that another 1957 BMW 503 Cabriolet, chassis 69091, restored in fjord blue over cognac leather, sold for a jaw-dropping €421,250 in Germany after a nut and bolt restoration. 8. 1980 BMW M1. The 1980 BMW M1 raked in a cool $566,619 at RM Sotheby's Paris auction. It's the 276th M1 ever built. Coming off the line on October 2, 1980, finished in its factory-correct Blau over Schwarz. The M1 was born out of BMW's burning desire to dominate the racetrack, with design by Giorgetto Giugiaro and a space-frame chassis engineered by Gianpaolo Dallara, the same genius who sprinkled magic on Lamborghini race cars. Its lightweight fiberglass body and that unmistakable wedge shape make it look like a spaceship, even parked. Under that low, angular skin sits a 3.5-liter straight six with matching numbers, cranking out 274 horses at 6,500 RPM. The numbers might not sound crazy today, but in 1980 that was serious muscle, wrapped in a body that weighed around 3,100 pounds. This M1 has only 21,142 kilometers on the clock, which is roughly 13,140 miles, and it's still wearing its original paint like a badge of honor. Now let's talk about what it's like to drive one of these legends. The seating position? Low and wide, with a race-inspired dogleg gearbox, where first gear sits down to the left. True old-school performance DNA. Once you're on the road, the M1 feels planted and precise, soaking up bumps while keeping you connected to every inch of pavement beneath those Campagnolo wheels. At 70 miles per hour, it's still pulling over 3,000 RPM, begging you to go faster, to hear that straight six sing just a bit longer. Inside, it's all business. No flashy Countach theatrics or Aston Martin plushness here, just black leather, a plain Becker Mexico radio, and switchgear borrowed from the period 7 Series. The M1 was designed for the track first, the street second, and that's what makes it magical. It's one of those rare cars where the fantasy of how it looks matches the reality of how it drives. It's no wonder collectors lock them away, but the true joy of the M1 is in the drive, soaking up every high-revving, gear-snatching moment. Number 7. Paul Walker's BMW M1 AHG study. Paul Walker's BMW M1 AHG study fetched $648,500 at RM Sotheby's Miami auction. This is one of no more than 10 M1s modified in period by the German BMW dealership AHG, and it's dripping with attitude. First, there's the one-off tricolor livery, white, blue, and red, straight out of BMW motorsport dreams, laid down by the legendary Hermann Altmix paint shop in Germany. This car looks like a Procar refugee ready to tear up a street circuit, complete with flared fenders, a menacing front spoiler, and aggressive side skirts. But it's not all about looks. The AHG study wasn't just a visual package, it was a complete transformation. This M1 had its engine uprated to 350 horsepower, paired with a racing clutch and a new exhaust system that makes it sound every bit as savage as it looks. Adjustable race-spec suspension and those iconic 3-piece BBS wheels complete the package, giving it the stance and the grip to match the muscle under the hood. Inside, it's just as special, with full leather seat inserts replacing the original cloth and additional speakers to crank up your tunes, while that inline 6 Symphony plays in the background. It was street legal, but it carried the soul of a pro car, engineered for owners who wanted something even more exclusive than the already rare M1. This particular car has had an interesting life. Originally delivered to a BMW dealer in Bielefeld, Germany in 1979, it eventually found its way into the famous Ed Weaver collection in Georgia, then into the hands of collector Don Davis before landing in the AE collection of Paul Walker and Roger Rodas in California. At the time it crossed the auction block, it had only 6,821 kilometers, or just over 4,200 miles, on the odometer, barely broken in for a machine that's over 4 decades old. The previous owners ensured it stayed in prime shape, with the water pump rebuilt, fluids flushed, and even a fresh battery before it went up for sale. 6. 1978 BMW 320 i Turbo IMSA. The 1978 BMW 320 i Turbo IMSA hammered down for a jaw-dropping $731,000 out in Monterey. It was a race car born out of pure ambition, cooked up with the brains over at McLaren, and it ended up becoming a secret test bed for BMW's future Formula One engines. This car, chassis number 003, is the only lightweight example ever built, dropping nearly 300 pounds compared to its siblings. Just 5 of these beasts ever existed, and only 3 saw action under BMW North America's banner in IMSA GT competition between 1977 and 1979. It was driven by none other than David Hobbs and Derek Bell, clinching 8 top 3 finishes, including victories at Sears Point in '78 and the 1979 Road America 500, despite the car rarely surviving long races without hiccups. They weren't messing around with this thing. BMW stripped down the E21 320i's steel body for a fiberglass shell with a one-piece hood and integrated fenders. They widened the rear, slapped on a nose splitter, and shoved twin radiators behind massive 19-inch wheels. McLaren's tuning magic and BMW's relentless push for turbo development birthed the M12-9 motor, churning out 600 horsepower out of a 2.0-liter four-cylinder. Imagine 600 horses screaming from an engine smaller than what you'd find in a Civic, all while prepping for future F1 domination. In 1979, this very chassis pulled off its greatest feat, conquering the Road America 500, despite the team nearly pulling out due to fuel cell issues. After BMW wrapped up the 320i Turbo program to focus on Formula One, where, by the way, that engine design would help power Nelson Piquet to a world championship. This car moved through the hands of collectors and enthusiasts. It raced at Laguna Seca, showed off at the Monterey Historics, and even made the cover of Vintage Motorsport in 2016. Number 5, 1981 BMW M1. Coming in hot at number 5 is the 1981 BMW M1 that sold for $742,000 at RM Sotheby's in Miami. And let me tell you, this M1 isn't just rare, it's practically a unicorn. This M1 is one of just 399 road-legal examples ever built, and only 3 were finished in silver from the factory. This one, painted in factory-correct Polaris metallic silver by BMW M1 expert Axel Hagemann, and it's believed to be the only one in this exact hue. Now, the M1 was BMW's first car fully developed under the M division, and it's a true homologation special, cooked up when BMW wanted to kick Porsche's butt in higher-level motorsports back in the late 70s. Initially, they roped in Lamborghini to develop the chassis, but Lamborghini's money troubles forced them to pull out, leaving BMW to pick up the pieces. The result was a low-slung, wedge-shaped beauty designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro, complete with a tubular steel space frame and double wishbone suspension paired with adjustable coil springs and Bilstein dampers. Mid-mounted behind the seats was BMW's M88 engine, a 3.5-liter inline-six pushing out 277 horsepower at 6,500 RPM. The M1 was originally intended for FIA Group 5, but changing regulations meant BMW had to churn out 400 units to qualify under Group 4, so they launched the BMW M1 Procar Championship, a support series for Formula One that let F1 drivers battle it out in these monsters on the weekends. Now back to this silver beauty. Manufactured in February 1981 and delivered to a BMW dealer in France, it spent over 2 decades in Japan before heading to Belgium and eventually landing in the US in 2016. Throughout its life, it's clocked just over 10,688 miles, making it practically showroom fresh. It's also got the kind of provenance collectors drool over: official BMW Classic certification, matching numbers, and a stack of service records. It even came with the original M1 branded suitcase, toolkit, and factory manuals. 4th, BMW i8 Concours d'Elegance Edition. The BMW i8 Concours d'Elegance Edition hammered down for $825,000 at Pebble Beach in 2014. Picture this: BMW takes its new age spaceship coupe, slathers it in frozen gray metallic, adds Dalbergia brown leather, and calls it a day. The result? One of the wildest price tags ever hung on an i8. The i8 is a head-turner with those scissor doors and futuristic lines that make you feel like you're Bruce Wayne driving to a board meeting. Underneath, it packs a 1.5-liter 3-cylinder turbo engine out back and a 98-kilowatt electric motor up front, delivering a combined 369 horsepower. It'll rocket from 0 to 60 in just under 4 seconds, topping out at 155 miles per hour. But despite the spaceship vibes, it still runs on a tiny 3-cylinder, and the electric-only range was just 22 miles. This specific i8 left the factory with the pricey $10,800 Pure Impulse World package, so you got your 20-inch alloys, LED cornering lights, Harman Kardon sound, head-up display, and a few extra blue seat belts to remind you that you spent 6 figures on a hybrid. Originally delivered to the Dare to Dream collection with just 2,471 miles on it, this car was a brand new showpiece. It came with all the paperwork too: window stickers, certification copies, even the original bill of sale from Brahman Motorcars in West Palm Beach. Number 3, 1980 BMW M1 Procar. Climbing into spot number 3, we have a true race-bred beast, the 1980 BMW M1 Procar, which roared to $913,000 under the hammer at RM Sotheby's in Monterey. Now, the M1 is already one of BMW's greatest hits, the brand's first and only mid-engine supercar, born out of a desire to spank Porsche on the track back in the late 70s. But the Procar version? That's a different animal entirely. Just 54 of these wild machines were ever built, with this particular one, chassis 1195, being the 36th off the line. Under the hood is a 3.5-liter inline 6 that's tuned to crank out a vicious 470 horsepower, nearly double the Street M1's output. It's paired with a 5-speed manual and a limited slip diff that made it a corner-eating monster. The car's wedge-shaped design, penned by Ital Design's Jahre, while the flared arches and massive rear wing remind you it's here to race, not just look pretty. This Procar has racing chops to back up the price tag. In 1981, it won the IMSA GTO Championship in the hands of Al Unser Jr., a future 2-time Indy 500 winner. This car wasn't hanging around in the back either. It scored 8 podium finishes across the 1981 and 1982 seasons. It even kicked off its career with a third-in-class finish at Riverside and a second-in-class at Laguna Seca, proving it had the grit to keep up with the big dogs. After its IMSA days, the car went on a world tour, passing through collectors in Switzerland and Norway, before landing with Graber Sport Garage, where it underwent a full 3-year nut-and-bolt restoration that returned it to its racing glory. By 2017, it received its FYA Historic Technical Passport, which meant it was eligible to continue tearing up vintage racing events around the globe, from Daytona to Sebring and beyond. It's like having your own personal ticket to some of the coolest races in the world, all while driving a piece of BMW's racing heritage. 2. 2023 BMW 3.0 CSL. Now you might think dropping over $1 million on a BMW that isn't a hypercar sounds crazy, but the 2023 BMW 3.0 CSL isn't just any bimmer. Only 50 of these were ever built to celebrate BMW M's 50th anniversary, and this one, chassis number 44 out of 50, was snatched up for a jaw-dropping $1,114,167. The roof, hood, and trunk, all carbon fiber. The aprons, sills, diffuser, spoiler, yep, carbon fiber too. Even the rear silencer is made from titanium, so BMW wasn't messing around. Under the hood sits the most powerful straight six the Bavarians had ever built at launch, pumping out 560 horses from a 3.0-liter turbocharged inline 6 that's been massaged from the M4 CSL's engine. It's paired with a 6-speed manual because BMW wanted this to be a real driver's car, not just another collector's dust magnet. Only 33 kilometers were on the odometer when RM Sotheby sold it in Munich on November the 25th, 2023. Imagine owning a car that's basically brand new, yet already a future classic, finished in alpine white over black Alcantara, with M-carbon seats that hug you tighter than your favorite recliner. The wheels are 20 and 21-inch Y-spoke center locks, wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires that even have a 50 embossed on the sidewalls, letting everyone at Cars and Coffee know you're not rolling up in just another M4. This CSL came with BMW's carbon ceramic brakes, a reversing camera, dual-zone air, and even a certificate of conformity since it had never been registered by its first owner. The original buyer scooped it from Bayern Avenue SAS in Cannes, but it returned to Germany to find a new home through RM Sotheby's, proving once again that there's always someone out there ready to pay top dollar to own the ultimate halo BMW. 1. 1958 BMW 507 Roadster Series 2. Sitting pretty at number 1, we've got a legend, the 1958 BMW 507 Roadster Series 2, which hammered down at $2,420,000 at RM Sotheby's Amelia Island auction back in 2014. Only 251 of these 507s ever left BMW's factory, and this particular beauty had just 2 owners since new, spending most of its life under the careful watch of Malcolm S. Prey Jr., who bought it in 1972 and kept it for 42 years. Finished in graphite with stunning bright work, this car wasn't just a pretty face. It rocked a 3.2-liter all-aluminum V8 with dual carbs, pushing out 145 horsepower, paired with a 4-speed manual that made it a pure driver's car in its era. Remember, this was a time when a 145 horsepower V8 was nothing to sneeze at, especially wrapped in a hand-built aluminum-bodied roadster designed by Count Albrecht von Goertz. It came from the factory with the desirable Rudge wheels, a Becker Mexico radio, and even a rare factory hardtop. During the 1980s, the interior was reupholstered in rich red Connolly leather, and the 507 underwent a body refinishing in 2006 that left it looking as sharp as the day it rolled out of Munich. But what really makes this 507 stand out is its history. It was originally owned by Alan Friedland, who raced it in Sports Car Club of America events, including the Northeast Ohio regional races at Mid-Ohio back in the early 60s. Even better, its original 155 horsepower Series 2 engine, which had been separated from the car, was tracked down, fully rebuilt, and reunited with the chassis before it crossed the block. The car came complete with receipts, photos, and documentation. A true collector's dream, reflecting its purity. That's it for today's video. From the scream of a vintage inline six to bids that shatter records, this is the Super Bowl for BMW fanatics, and you don't want to miss what's coming up. Hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you're here every time another piece of car history crosses the block.